Welcome back to Action Figure Imagery Tour Reviews, everyone. Today we're having a look at Masters of the Universe Origins Teela figure from Mattel. In my opinion, I got my own nickname for Teela. I call her the First Lady of Masters of the Universe, and that's literally what she really is. She really is the First Lady of Masters of the Universe, just like the First Lady title for whomever the wife is of the President of the United States. She's the First Lady of Masters of the Universe. She was the first female figure made in the Masters of the Universe line. She came before Evil Lyn. I know one thing about Teela that might throw a lot of fans off about is her description, the figure description. Heroic warrior goddess still stands today, when her description should really be heroic captain of the Royal Guard, which is what she really is. For those that are confused by the warrior goddess title, it really does apply to Teela, the young Teela, not the sorceress. Early on in her career, she really is just a warrior, not a goddess, not a sorceress. But later, for those of us that have been keeping up with the Master Universe franchise, we know that Teela will one day replace the sorceress that we all know. That's the keeper of Castle Grayskull. That Teela will one day become the keeper of Castle Grayskull, and that will make her a goddess, just like the sorceress. So that explains the description of heroic warrior goddess. She started off as a warrior in the early portion of her career by being captain of the Royal Guard, of the Palace Guard. Later in her career, she becomes a goddess, the goddess of Castle Grayskull, a sorceress. So that hopefully that explains that. Here's the left side of Teela's packaging, back of the packaging, which you'll get a closer look at in the still images slideshow, and the right side of the packaging. And you can see Teela's weapons behind her, the staff and the shield. Okay. Now, let's take a look at Teela outside of the packaging. Okay, folks, here's Teela out of the packaging, fully assembled with staff and shield in hand. And I think one big major difference between this Origins Teela figure as far as packaging is concerned, if my memory serves me correctly, the vintage Teela was packaged with her armor off. You had to put the armor on her, whereas the armor was already, snake armor was already on the Origins figure when she's displayed. An excellent figure made out of good sturdy plastic. Unlike the old vintage Teela, which you might have had trouble standing her because of the straight legs, since you can bend the knees on this one, her standing is no longer an issue anymore. Standing without falling is no longer an issue as was maybe with some of the vintage figures. The armor can easily be taken off, of course. See the piece in the back, just pull it apart, and you can easily remove the armor to see what she looks like without it. And her hair reminds me of very reminiscent of Filmation Teela, the way Teela looked in the Filmation cartoon. Yes, I can definitely tell there's elements of Filmation in this figure, with her hair, the way they did the tiara on her head. Very nice. Much better in person than it looks on the internet. More realistic looking expression than the male figures. Very excellent figure. Hard, sturdy plastic. Let's look at Teela's articulation. Let me put her weapons down so you can get a glimpse of her articulation. Starting with the head. Move it back. Move it up. Well, it doesn't look like the upward movement isn't all that good. Isn't as great as a man. It isn't as... No, but can move down just a little bit, but not up too much. It's from at least my copy. I'm not. Maybe it's the neck piece, the nose, not that. She just that's about as far as I can get her to look upward. Her arm moves outward. You can move it back like that, inward. You can put her hand in front of her face like that. You got articulation at the elbow, swivel at the wrist, waist articulation, spin the waist around, twist the waist around rather. Leg, move outward like that. Move it forward, backward. Okay. Articulation in the knee. Bend it back that much. And articulation right here with the boot, mid. I guess you could call it the mid-ankle articulation. And of course you got articulation in the foot. Move it back that far. Alright. Now let's look at the slideshow images of Teela and get a better look at the figure with the slideshow images and at her accessories. Better look at her accessories too with the slideshow. Okay, folks, there's Teela in the packaging as she is displayed in the store. There's the right side of the packaging. As you see Teela's weapons behind her, you see her staff behind her, along with her shield. There's a picture of the card back as Teela attacks Merman. You see other Masters of the Universe characters in the background, including He-Man himself, and the King and Queen Marlena. And so, left side view of the packaging of Teela inside the packaging. And there's Teela out of the packaging with no accessories. Like I said, I think she's perfect combination of the Filmation hair and the vintage look of the face. See, she's right at 5 inches tall. But I love that combination of she has the Filmation hair, the hair of the Filmation character. I noticed that. There she is next to her adopted father, Man-at-Arms, also known as Duncan. Comparison shot. And now she's about to be compared to her future husband, believe it or not, He-Man. In the Masters of the Universe Classics storyline, He-Man and Teela will be secretly married as Teela becomes a new sorceress of Castle Grayskull. Never imagine Adam/He-Man and Teela as husband and wife. Right view of Teela right there, right profile view. I've always envisioned Adam and Teela as a brother-sister relationship. Back view of Teela. I never really seen them as an item. And I've always viewed He-Man and Teela as just friends only. As now there's a left profile view of Teela. And if you have some of those Masters of Universe Classics mini comics, you know what I'm talking about. As we look at Teela's shield and staff, and you see her shield still has the same designs, beautiful designs as the vintage shields. Close up of Teela's snake armor right here. Same designs as vintage also. And there's Teela holding her staff with 2 hands. That's one thing I like about these figures, is they can now hold their weapons with 1 or 2 hands. I don't think we didn't have this luxury with the vintage Teela. She can only hold her weapon with 1 hand. Now she can hold her staff with 2 hands now, and you can pose her in battle poses, fighting with 2 hands, using her staff, fighting with 2 hands, as I'm about to demonstrate, like right here, as she whacks Beastman upside his head with her staff. I'm not sure we'd be able to pull this. We wouldn't be able to pull this off with the vintage figures. Here's an up close shot of the same image. I need to do a better job of taking pictures. I see that picture is kind of hot from the flash. A little too bright, but the same shot. Teela whacks Beastman upside his face again. I try to be a little more realistic here as Beastman loses his weapon out of his hand, loses his bullwhip out of his hand as Teela whacks him upside the head. There's another view of it. I think this is one with the flash. I think the other picture was taken without flash. Another angle as Teela strikes Beastman. And there she is in another pose, holding her weapon with two hands. I like how you can make these figures, display these figures in all kind of fighting poses, battle poses. Here she is with all of her accessories, battle armor, snake armor, stake staff, and the shield. And here she is with the staff and shield without the armor. And here she is, as you can see, Teela and Evelyn side by side still have the same bodies, just like the vintage figure, the same design. The only thing is different is the heads, if you don't count the different colors. And remember in the old Filmation cartoons where Teela would ride the saddle of Battle Cat, she'd be in the back and He-Man would be in the main seat? Well, now you can see, this is my demonstration of that right there. As Teela rides the back of Battle Cat's saddle, and she fits perfectly on there. You don't have to worry about her falling off or anything like that. He-Man is in the main passenger seat, rider seat, I should say. And you probably could fit one more figure on the back too. If I haven't tried that yet. There's a scanned image of the card back. The other image was a photograph. This is an image that's scanned into the computer. And next is an image of the same image, close-up shot. I'll read: as captain of the Royal Guard, Teela fiercely fights to protect Eternia alongside He-Man. In the background, you see King Randor, Queen Marlena, He-Man and some palace guards as she fights Merman. And here's the mini comics that they all figures of the the figures of the first wave that they all come with this particular mini comic known as Beast Barrage. I forgot to include this mini comic in my Beastman review, but I did include it in the He-Man and Skeletor reviews. But it's the same comic with every figure of the first wave, Beast Barrage. A very short mini comic at that, but kid friendly. Okay, action figure fans, final thoughts on Teela. Very excellent figure. Love this figure. One of my favorite figures in this Master Universe Origin line so far. One of my favorite features of her is I love her hair. I love how they did her hair. She got a head full of hair this time. It's very Filmation-like, the way it is in the back, the ponytail. Most collectors, big question they might have asking themselves is how do they want to display their Teela figure? You want to display her with the armor or without the armor. For those who grew up with a Filmation cartoon, might want to display her without the armor. However, for those collectors that are concerned about losing pieces, you might want to keep the armor on her. I'm not sure, but throughout the Filmation cartoon, she never wore the snake armor. And this is the look that you see right here. This is the look that she is known for without the armor. And in the Mike Young cartoon, you didn't see her in there neither. So mainly the comic books, especially the old mini comics that came with the figures, the vintage figures, display her with the snake armor. That's about the only form of media that you're going to see her in the snake armor are in the comics. Live animation and motion picture, no snake armor. Okay, I mentioned this. Teela's an overall great figure. I recommend you adding her to your collection. First Lady of Masters of the Universe didn't let us down. Excellent figure. That's it for this review, folks. I hope you had fun with this review and enjoyed it. And everyone have a blessed day, and we'll see you in the next video.